slide, you know we gon' see the kill. What? That boy deceased for real. Better be cool, you not on that block, you not in the streets for real. That boy gon' slide, he know that's a line, you know.
Hey, what is indeed going on, people? And welcome back to the Main Event Podcast. I'm your host, Jonah Pitney, along with my co-host, Kofi O'Hemming, KO Sports Talk. And we're talking about the Chicago Bears taking on the Arizona Cardinals in this Week 13 matchup. And of course, we do have a special guest today. We definitely appreciate our special guest coming on is Troxel Sports Streams, and he is coming in right now. But before I do bring him in, just want to give him a quick intro. Messed up on that. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're just going to bring him in right now. And let's start it off right now. Yes, sir. And Traxxas Sports Streams is in the building. Welcome to the Main Event Podcast, man. I appreciate the fact that you was able to make it, and thank you for sharing the video as well.
Hey,
So,
anytime, brother.
Yes, sir. So officially to jump things off, of course, Kyler Murray is making his return after being gone for 8 weeks. Him and DeAndre Hopkins. Before then, he was in the MVP category, and he can still actually have a chance to win MVP if he's able to just finish strong later throughout the season. What do you think it will be the best matchup for Kyler Murray to be able to readjust after missing so much time, and DeAndre Hopkins?
A lot of it, I think, I feel like if they can go out and actually just play their game, don't try to be something special. Just go out there, play your God-given talent. If you could do that, audible at the line. If you see something, get your guys in a rhythm, even if it's a 5-yard slant. If you could get them into a rhythm, it's going to pay off in that fourth quarter. And long term, because now they're going to get themselves in that rhythm. They're like, okay, now we know what to kind of expect. We got a little flow. I see the ball in my hand with, say, DeAndre Hopkins coming back from injury. I see the ball in my hand. Okay, I know I can catch this thing still. So let's go out there and let's try to make a run for this thing. I think if they could do stuff like that, then I think that, they're going to, help themselves, get back on track, especially with a Kyler Murray.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you did speak briefly on DeAndre Hopkins because he has been missing for those many weeks. The Cardinals' offense has not been as efficient. Of course, Kyler Murray is one of the reasons why that has not happened. But also, just with DeAndre Hopkins coming back, how do that actually make things easier for the Cardinals?
I think it helps them because he's not going to be that guy. Like, they've kind of got themselves into a rhythm with other guys. So now when you add a DeAndre Hopkins, now that's just going to open up everything. The run game's going to open up a little bit more. The other receivers are going to get opened up a little bit more. They're now into a rhythm because obviously they've had a lot more reps in bigger situations than they would, say, if a Kyler Murray was playing. And, now that you add a DeAndre Hopkins, when you add him, everything's going to just open up. And then I feel like, the offense can get themselves into a nice little flow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Okay, Kofi, I'm just going to hit you with a quick bear question. Now, of course, we will talk about it a little bit later that Justin Fields, of course, being out. Mm-hmm. Andy Dalton making his second consecutive start. What do you think he brings to the table over Justin Fields? And do you think that with him being the starter, the offense flows a lot better?
I agree somewhat. The offense does flow a lot better because, of course, he's more suited with Matt Nagy's offense. Because Matt Nagy, of course, he runs like more of a pass-happy offense, and that's the type of offense that Andy Dalton can run. I mean, of course, we all know that he's very great with pre-snap motion, pre-snap reads. But at the same time, Andy Dalton, whenever it comes to post-snap reads, sometimes he focuses way too much on one read, like one of his reads. And when he focuses on one read, sometimes that can be like a costly mistake that can lead to an interception. I mean, if you look back in that Lions game when they were closer towards the end zone or the red zone, you saw that Andy Dalton, he threw to JP Holtz, and you saw that the defender, he almost got the interception. And then the second time he's done it again, where pretty much nobody was open, and he threw to like an open defender, and he threw it for like an interception. So Andy Dalton, he's going to have to really work on scanning the whole field in this totality and stop always focusing on run read, because that's been his problem for like the past couple years, up until the end of his tenure and with Cincinnati. And if he just works on it, and if they also run the ball, with David Montgomery, of course, he's a great running back. I think he's very underrated he's underrated in the league, and I think he's like one of the best. If they use him a lot, David Montgomery or Khalil Herbert, I think we might have a chance at beating the Cardinals. I know they're very great at stopping the run. The Cardinals are pretty good at stopping the run, but I think we have enough offensive firepower to kind of slow them down. But it's all up to like Andy Dalton to kind of recognize the field and recognize the type of offenses that he's going to run, and recognize whenever a player is open, when he sees that open man, he needs to throw that ball, because his problem is he's just focused on just one read.
Yeah, that is true, because I did look over the tape. I did review everything. That same familiar play that you talked about, not with JP Holtz, but the play after that, when you thought nobody was open, actually he had Cole Kmet on a wheel route, and he could have literally walked straight into the end zone with no context. And even with him throwing to the Bear Bird that was intercepted, if he doesn't aim that pass, if he throws it more towards the back of the end zone and allowed Demir Bird to use his speed, would have been another easy touchdown as well. So it's more so, like you said, he needs to stop focusing so much on that one read and try to make sure he scans the entire field. If that read not open right away, go to your number 2, number 3, or whatever, go to your check down immediately. But that's one thing that if even after 10, 11 seasons he can't fix, he's never going to fix it. Sometimes old dogs cannot learn those new tricks. And he's one of those guys that refuses to learn those same new tricks. So it's going to be rough for him regardless of the fact. But I do know this much though. At this time, I'd rather take him over Justin Fields, because like we had discussed before we got on the air, the offensive line is bad. They're giving up the most sacks. The Cardinals defense is ranked like 8th in the league with like 26 sacks. So they're going to definitely be able to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So they're going to have to be able to make sure to get that ball out.
And they're very blitz happy too. Very blitz happy.
Yeah, about to say that. And that's actually leading up to one of my questions for Troxel. What do you believe is the defensive keys to the game for your team to be able to succeed against the Chicago Bears?
I think Kofi hit it on the nose when he was talking about the most underrated player in the NFL, which is David Montgomery. I 100% agree. David Montgomery, if he has an offensive line, you guys have a two-headed monster, and Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery. And my 5 keys to any single game: run that football, stop that run, play sound defense, play disciplined football, and have that will to win. You do those 5 things. I don't care who you are, what team you root for, you're going to be winning some football games.
Absolutely. So one of the main things, of course, mentioning Dave Montgomery, he did just come back from his injury not long ago. Despite the fact that the Bears have one of the worst passing offensive lines, they have one of the best run blocking offensive lines, despite the fact that, of course, Larry Bourne missed a few assignments here and there and the guys get overpowered. Still, the running backs are still able to push forward and get positive yards every time. Do you think that they'll still be able to do the same thing against your defense, despite the fact that your team has been struggling against the run so far this season? do you think that they'll be able to match up properly against the Chicago Bears to shut it down, or at least limit it?
I feel it's any given Sunday. So it's like, if they have that will to win, absolutely they can match up perfectly with the Cardinals. A lot of people, they underestimate the Bears, and I ain't gonna lie, I am a Lions fan and I'm a Cardinals fan. I live here in Detroit and I lived out in Arizona. And so both of those teams are my passion. But it's like, so it's like coming from a Lions fan, my whole thing is, when I look at the Chicago Bears, everybody looks at their record and be like, oh, they do this, they do that. It's like, nah, like if you put an offensive line with that team and with their defense, because their defense is not no slouch. Like the Chicago Bears got a defense, y'all. And they also have, like Kofi and you were saying, they got the receivers and stuff like that there. They got weapons. They got a run game. They got, a great tight end. Actually, they got a two-headed monster at tight end with our former tight end in Jesse James, the outlaw. And then you had Cole Kmet, a draft pick. I mean, the only thing missing now really is that offensive line and, Justin Fields to come into his own. And then you put yourself with the new head coach and a new general manager. And I'll tell you what, Green Bay better hold their panties in a bunch because, hey, Bears are coming for them.
Absolutely.
Yep, we're going to be owning this division in the next 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, one of the most underrated player is Justin Fields. He is going to be somebody special. And I've never said that about an Ohio State quarterback in a long time. But have faith in Justin Fields. Get him an offensive line. You do those two things, man, it's going to be sick, nasty, and Bears will be in that big dance come February.
That's only if we get the right coaching and the right general manager.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But before we do continue, who was the Ohio State quarterback that you believed in before Justin Fields? That was so many years ago.
I believe that was I want to say it was Joe Theismann that came out of Ohio State. I think he was an Ohio State player. And so yeah, it's been a long time since Ohio State had a formidable quarterback that came out of there. But I'll tell you what, Fields, hey, you get himself an offensive line where he's able to, kind of play a little bit more relaxed. Because I mean, he looks relaxed, but I don't think he's playing relaxed. And there's a fine line between that, where it's like, yeah, I can look relaxed, but in my head, I'm like, oh, crap. Like, what's going on here? But that's going to take a little bit of time. Once you guys get, that offensive line fixed, have Fields get in there, get that valuable reps in the offseason, in practice, week in, week out, during the regular season. And actually go up against, guys on Sundays or Thursdays or Mondays, during game time. I think that, the real question is, how far can this team really go? And that's what scares me as a Cardinals fan and as a Lions fan. It's like, holy smokes, like we're going to have to deal with this team, twice every single year or, once every other year or once a year, and things like that. So it's like, that the Bears are going to be a scary team, because you stop and think about it. Aaron Rodgers, if he leaves, you can pretty much wipe out, Devontae Adams. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be between the Lions and the Bears. Obviously, America and the NFL is going to push more towards Bears than, my lowly Lions. But
don't worry, they'll get there, man. They'll get there.
I'll be happy with the Lions. Is a handful of players away from actually being winners. Me and Kofi spoke about that. Even Kofi made a previous video saying, "Don't sleep on the Lions," even though it didn't quite pan out like we expected it to be. It's just we already said. You said Dan Campbell actually is a decent coach. The coaching staff is actually pretty good.
He's not a good play caller.
Just the guy do not have the horsepower to sustain either drives offensively or when your offense is actually on point, you don't have enough horsepower on defense to get the necessary stops.
Yeah,
like because the if y'all did, you would have beat the Bears. You probably would have, most likely, you probably would have beat the Bears twice. You would beat the Ravens. You definitely would have beat the Ravens. You would have beat a handful of things. You probably would have 7 wins right now as a Lions.
Yeah, 6 or 7. Yep.
Yep. But
So
that's why I'm like, I'm okay with this 10-1. I ain't gonna lie. I'm okay with that. I mean, it's a little hard, but I'm okay with it because
y'all get Desmond Ridder, who's a great quarterback from Cincinnati. Oh man. Y'all
either Desmond Ridder, Kayvon Thibodeau, or Aiden Hutchinson. I think you can't go wrong with one of those three. Or if not, you trade back and, maybe get a Kyle Hamilton or somebody like that.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, okay, we got a little bit off subject, but still on subject. But now, Kofi, I'm just going to ask you a question real quick. Of course, the Bears defense is also struggling to stop the run as well. Of course, what we did put Artie Burns back in there as a starting corner, and it was slight improvement over Kendall Vildor. And I believe Duke Shelley was replaced last week, so it was a lot better coverage. But also the Cardinals is a decent run team.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. I have to go back over it and then just review it again. But how well do you think the Bears defense will be able to match up with this Cardinals offense? And do you think that the Bears will be able to contain James Conner? Even though he's only rushing for 3.8 yards per carry, he still has 12 rushing touchdowns. Do you think the Bears will be able to somehow contain that, at least that portion of it, and try to focus more on the pass, or what?
Well, I'll say this. This is going to be a tall task for this Bears defense because, granted, whether Kyler Murray plays, they're going to have their hands full because we already know Kyler Murray. He's a dual-threat quarterback. The guy can freaking run, man. He can run. So if you have him and then James Conner, that's going to be a problem with our Bears defense. So, and not to mention, they got weapons all over the field. I mean, they got Christian Kirk. I mean, what else can I name? Christian Kirk. Y'all got Andy Isabella. Who else? Of course, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green.
Yep.
And that tight end.
Zach Ertz.
Yeah, Zach Ertz they got from Philadelphia. They got weapons all over the field. So, and granted, I don't know if Roquan Smith is going to come back. He's probably not going to play.
Hey, I hope he comes back.
I
gotta give him fantasy.
He's a game time decision.
Yeah, he's questionable, but he's actually a game time decision. They actually expect him to play. I just looked at the conference like an hour ago when Matt Nagy was talking about it. So there's I say 65-70% chance that he does indeed do play.
Hey, I hope he does because I have him in fantasy as my linebacker, and he's been having about 12 points a game. And when he played up against that Lions and, kind of left early with the injury, I'm just like, oh, that kind of hurt.
Yeah, it really did because he was getting how did you deal with that last week?
Like 6 or 7 tackles?
Huh?
How many tackles did Roquan Smith have up until his injury?
I can look it up real quick. I'm like, what do you call it? But I love playing with defensive players like that. That is just a different element.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know, how would you feeling about that? Like, Roquan Smith made a tackle. Wait, that's my team though. Like,
hey,
how did you deal with that?
For me, that's the thing about fantasy football. It's like, it kind of takes that bitter rivalry out, but then it still has a little bit of like that rivalry, but it's like, I don't know, like when you playing to win in fantasy, it's like you can't hold those moves a little too accountable because it's like he is helping you win though. But he had 3 solo tackles, but against Baltimore, he had 16 points. He had 13 solo tackles, 4 tackles assisted, and 2 tackle for losses, put up 16 points.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he should be a Pro Bowler. And he got robbed last year. I felt he got robbed last year. Totally robbed.
Yeah.
That's why I said, like, you guys got a defense where you got some studs.
Yep.
Yeah, we do. It's just that the players that the Bears should have kept last year, they let go. And then they kept older players, and then now those players is gone. Yeah. And now the Bears is basically feeling it. Akeem Hicks is still hurt. Danny Trevathan, I think, is gone for the rest of the year when they could have just
Khalil
re-signed
Mack.
Nick Wachowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, Khalil Mack being gone after 7 games, having 6 sacks. But one of
And
the
he was
main
having a
things
career year
is,
too that year. He was having a career year this
yeah,
year.
he was on pace to having 16, 17, 18 sacks. Robert Quinn is projected, if at his best, to have 20 sacks. He has 11 sacks. He was
He could
just a
break the
defensive
record.
player of the month,
Mhm.
recording 5.5 sacks last year. So what do you guys think you need to do to try to slow him down? And if you think you slow him down, will that affect the rest of the pass rush as well?
Who are you talking about?
Robert Quinn.
Oh, Robert Quinn. Man, he is a problem and a matchup nightmare that you don't want no problem. Like, but I mean, if you can kind of facilitate him and kind of do a lot of misdirections where he's going one way, but then you're going to cut over and go the other way and kind of have him, kind of dead in his tracks. I think that's the only way you can kind of facilitate him out of the plays that you're trying to run. And but then you guys got that secondary that's coming up. Who's that? Jalen
Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson. Hey, you don't want to get squared up with him because he'll bring that heat with him. And it's like, so there's that injury risk. Like, hey, you might as well misdirection, go run out of bounds, play another down, and kind of get yourself into a rhythm that way. But then flip side is, if you do that, well, then you're going to stop the clock. That gives more possessions over to the Bears offense and things like that. So it's like it's a double-edged sword, but and that's the type of guys you want to build around. I mean, I know he's an older player now, but that type of mindset is like those are the guys that you want to build around. Those guys where you're just like, yikes, I got to deal with him, but then if I do that, I got to deal with this other guy, and he's a lot younger, and he's gonna bring that heat. So how am I gonna face that? But that's the things like I can't stand about Matt Nagy. Even as a Lions fan, it's like, he kind of reminds me of like that Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn, Boston Turds crap. It's like it's broken, fix it. And he doesn't want to fix it.
He wants to run his own offense.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. I don't know. It's just like Matt Nagy probably would have worked better 20 years ago when the coaches made the quarterbacks conform to their offense. He probably would have been a coach for a long period of time, much like it was with Jeff Fisher, with Jared Goff, and with the Rams. He didn't want to conform to Jared Goff. Jared Goff looked like a bust. It looked like he was absolutely horrible. To get rid of him, Sean McVay come in. All of a sudden, now he a 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah.
So it's like with Matt Nagy, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know with him. It's like shit. He remind me of Mike Martz, damn near. That's who he really remind me of. He remind me of Mike Martz refusing to change his play. Getting rid of Greg Olsen because he wanted a tight end to block instead of receive the goddamn ball. Yeah, and just didn't want to confirm nothing. And what happened? Yeah, we did go to the NFC title that 1 year, but after that, what happened? Kept on downhill, and then eventually you don't see him no more.
Yeah. Wasn't that also kind of like Dick Duran too? Dick Duran was kind of like that type of head coach, right?
He was. It was like he was just lost half the time. Half the time, it looked like he didn't know what the hell was going on the field. So, yeah, it's kind of rough with that. But Kofi, just to ask you a quick question now, because I did ask Troxel, it's basically flipping it. Of course, the Bears do have the worst offensive line in the league, and I said it before, they're going against the 8th best rush team that actually get to the quarterback. What do you think the Bears actually need to do to try to slow down that pass rush?
They're going to have to run the max protect if they want to slow this team down. Because, I mean, if you looked at that Cleveland Browns game, you saw they're running a 5-man protection, and you saw that didn't work. So you're going to have to at least get some of your tight ends to block for your quarterback, especially if you're going to run an empty set. You're going to have to run like a max protect to pretty much protect your quarterback. And also you're going to have to run like throw a lot of checkdowns, because if you're throwing like a lot of checkdowns, that's going to slow down the defense from blitzing. We already know the Cardinals are a blitz happy team. So if you throw like a lot of those curl routes, those short check down routes, those slant routes, it's really going to put Cleveland's front seven on their toes. And
Cleveland, you mean Cardinals, Arizona?
Oh, Cardinals, I'm sorry. And if push comes to shove, that opens up more explosive plays. You can get Demir Bird to catch the ball from like 30 or 40 yards deep, or you can get Darnell Mooney, of course, because he's very explosive. You saw that Cardinals game; he had like over 100 yards in that Lions game. You saw what was happening. You're kind of throwing some of those checkdowns routes, and then when push comes to shove, when you're when the front seven is on its toes, or when they're kind of like being conservative, that's when you like throw the ball deep, and that's when you
okay.
gotta
mm-hmm. Okay, I can add on to that. Not only that, they're gonna have to run basically the same thing with Troxel said. Got to run a lot of misdirection plays, screen passes, wide receiver screens, tight end, mix some bubble screens, tight end screens in there. To try to get that defensive line tired and just keep moving. Even if the offensive line get tired with them, they both tired. That means ain't nobody going nowhere. And then you can let the wide receivers feast over the top. But only how that's going to happen if you keep mixing in, of course, the slant passes, hitch routes, and then eventually in the second half, that's when you can run quick slant go routes. You can run combination routes where the guy's going in and then switch back out and then turn up the field. You can do those type of things right there, but only how's that happen if you tire out that defensive line. The corners and safeties, they're pretty good. Buda Baker is a very good player. It's going to be hard.
America does need to put some respect on Buda Baker. He did get out the top of the Pro Bowl voting. So
yeah, he did, and I believe he only allows like 58% completion percentage of the passes that come his way, and the quarterback rating is like 76.6. So I'm like, God damn! When I looked at that stat earlier today, I was like, shit, that reminded me of Jalen Johnson and Kyle Fuller last year. I was like, but probably better because he's actually picking the ball off and causing turnovers.
And I tell you this, if he does intercept, that kid got some wheels on him. So you better have somebody fast, and you better have somebody in that backfield, because if not, that's a pick six.
Yeah. Well, Optimus just said the best way to keep the Cardinals offense off the field or to keep them in check is basically to keep that offense off the field.
Yeah.
And only how the Bears is going to do that, I don't know if they'd be able to fully replicate what they did against the Lions when they just killed eight minutes off the clock and then kicked the last second field goal. But it is what it is. Blessed Brown, who is a boxer? That's me. That's me, actually. I'm the boxer. I actually fight December 18th in Gary, Indiana. I'm supposed to be fighting a guy named Destiny Butler from Illinois. So I'll go ahead and go against him. Hopefully I get the win against him. I'm very, very confident I can beat the guy, but you never know. Once you get in the ring, you can be confident all day, but once them punches get the flowing, you got to get yourself together.
Yeah, that's all facts. Hey, that's what's up, though. I didn't know that. That's what's up.
I fight this guy at 150 pounds as a catch weight. I guess the guy was trying to get a little bit small at 147. I can still make the weight even though I'm real tall. I'm like 6'1", 6'2", but I can fight at those smaller weights, and I can also move up to like 154, 160, 168, 175. Even though those guys is way bigger than me, I still have enough movement to be able to outbox them for the most part. Unless they can move like me, then I'm kind of in trouble because they way bigger. But yeah, I'm about to say, just getting back on subject real quick. Hold on, just answer his. I like to box too and train. Oh man, we probably ran across each other and don't even know it, Brian. I'm about to say, just because I'm professional now, I got all my facial hair. When you in the amateurs, that's when you got to shave all this off. So that handsome beard you got right there, the moment you fight amateurs, you got to cut all that off.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, there is no more keeping your beard or nothing like that. They make you cut it all off. They used to be able to keep your mustache at least, but now they want to cut all off. They say it prevents injuries. I don't know how you got a head you're on, but that is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay, Troxel is that Lions fan I see around Bird Gang stream. Okay, I didn't know. I have to probably tune into that as well. But just getting back on subject real quick, of course, the injury reports, we did speak earlier about Roquan Smith. He is a game time decision, hamstring problem, but they did say that he possibly will play. Also, very good news for the Bears is that Tevin Jenkins has officially been activated. So there's a very strong chance that he's going to play against you guys. One of the most violent men in college football is now finally back.
Brett Coleman.
Oh, come on.
And the best time he's going against you guys. So those times when Jason Peters is winded and he needs to come out, but they didn't have nobody to replace him, most likely it's going to come in Tevin Jenkins, and then we're just going to have to see exactly how he adjusts. I don't know if he even knew he was going to be playing. So
I did not know, because I was actually super high on him via the draft, and I was like, he's probably one of the best pure offensive linemen out there in that draft class. So I was like, and when I heard that he went to the Bears, I was like, that hey, Mayday, Mayday.
Yeah. Well, that thing is though, when he failed as far as he did,
yeah,
I was like, I should have knew then that something had to be wrong, like he had to be having some type of injury or something. But either way, I'm still happy that he's here. But when he failed that far, I said, "Holy shit, what the hell is going on here?" Like, this man is one of the most violent players in football. He hardly ever loses, and he just have the upper body strength to take on NFL. Like, he was already NFL ready in college.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely excited to see exactly how he performs against your team. I know it's gonna be sometimes he's gonna get beat.
Your favorite player is gonna get beat. Your favorite players are always gonna get beat. So it's like, that just comes with the growing pains.
Yeah, it does go with it. Now, of course, after him is Justin Fields. They say he's doubtful, but we know he's not gonna play. He got cracked ribs. That take a little bit more time to heal. And it really just comes down to pain resistance. How well can you deal with that? And I don't know if any of y'all ever had cracked ribs before, it's not fun. It is not fun. I'm talking about, it's all you got to do is that little touch like that, you will hit the floor like someone hit you with a bomb. It's literally that bad. Literally that bad. But also, Cole Kmet is supposed to be expected to play. He had a little minor injury, but he is expected to play as well. Allen Robinson is doubtful. I don't think he's going to play. Mario Edwards Jr. is out. Marquise Goodwin is out. I don't know what happened to Marquise Goodwin. I believe he probably suffering some type of hamstring injury or foot injury or something like that as well. Akeem Hicks, we discussed him as well. He is also out, which sucks because ever since 2018, he has not been able to stay healthy. So that just really sucks that he's going like that. And also Damian Williams, ever since he had his little breakout game against the Raiders, he hasn't been able to stay healthy as well. Since then, he's been on the COVID protocol. Since then, he's been hurt as well. So we got a few good key players out, and some guys is just like you can switch them out and you probably wouldn't recognize it. What do you believe? Like how hard will it be for the Bears to be able to basically cover those type of costs, Kofi, with missing Mario Edwards, Akeem Hicks, Damian Williams, guys like that, basically?
I mean, it's the next man up mentality, man. And the next man up. I agree, with Akeem Hicks. He's the voice of the team. He's like the heart and soul of the team. But at the same time, this is the NFL. This is the next man up mentality. We got some dogs on this team. We got Kyrus Tonga, who's played really solid all season long. Great defensive tackle. Angelo Blackson, he's been playing well. Of course, you got Bilal Nichols. You got Eddie Goldman, who's been surprisingly playing well. So you got some dogs, up in that middle line, and so I mean it's going to be up to those guys, particularly Bilal Nichols and Eddie Goldman. They're going to have to step up this game because we already know what this Cardinals offense is. It's very explosive. They're like ranked top 10, and when you got Kyler Murray, I know he's coming back from an injury, but you can't really sleep on them, especially with their rushing attack with James Conner. You can't really sleep on these guys. And so Sean Desai, the defensive coordinator, he's going to have his work cut out for him. You have to get your guys ready. And of course, Robert Quinn, he's going to have to set the edge because he's really been one of our more reliable outside linebackers since Khalil Mack is out. I'm pretty sure you guys already know that he won, I think, Defensive Player of the Month. And so, they're going to have their work cut out for them. So, yeah.
Okay, just before I go to a question with you, I'm gonna answer a Blessed Brian question. I actually box at Schuler Stable in Gary, Indiana. So I don't know if you ever heard of them before, but that's why I do box at as well. But Troxel, you did have some guys injured as well that did come back. What are the other injuries that's notable that's actually going to slow you guys down? And if so, what other players do you have to mask those injuries to basically keep you afloat throughout the game?
Well, they said that James Wiggins is out. He's a safety. Kyler Murray questionable. Hopkins questionable. Obviously, they're probably going to be playing. Justin Pughes has not practiced all week. He's questionable. Let's see, Beecham and Rodney Hudson. They did not practice and they haven't even showed up, it looked like, for Thursday or Friday. Max Garcia, he is a full participant, so he's coming back. Byron Murphy, he's questionable. He was limited today in practice. Didn't practice all week, but was limited today. So he's questionable. I mean, if we could get Murphy and at least one of the offensive line back, I mean, because that's one of the biggest question marks right there is that offensive line to come healthy with an already injured but coming back, Kyler Murray. If you don't have your offensive line playing at their top of their game, this is the NFL. I don't care if you got a bunch of scrubs; they're still professionals there, and they'll get you. They're in the NFL for a reason. Even guys like a Ryan Leaf. Like, I know he was the biggest draft bust in NFL history, but hey, he still made it to the pros. So he got some sort of talent that just no coaches was able to get him. But I mean, the offensive line has got to come back healthy. If Kyler Murray is at least 60%, I'll take a 60% Kyler Murray out there because, it's just because of what he can do on the field, but that's going to have, ramifications on that offensive line. Like if that offensive line is playing at their top of the game, a 60% Kyler Murray, I trust that, just because of his skill set,
You sure? Because
I mean,
last year you had a 60% Kyler Murray when y'all was 6-3, and then y'all went up finishing 8-8 because of that. That's why I'm like, now the best thing is now that y'all
a lot of that though was
a
lot of that though was their offensive line though last year. Like that offensive line was, I mean, there were so many times I was, I wanted to curse. But obviously I don't curse on YouTube or none of that, but it's like, I just wanted to go through that screen and just be like, what are you guys doing? Like, you got a phenomenal quarterback. You got to protect those guys. Why do you think, guys like Tom Brady are still in this league at 44 years old at a high level? Look at that offensiat line. Your quarterback is with your offensive line. The Patriots and now with the Buccaneers. I mean, look at the stats that he's putting up with the Buccaneers compared to what he did with the Patriots. Like he's actually even better now with the Buccaneers than what he was with the Patriots. And
Yeah,
that's scary
absolutely.
at 44 years old. But
Yeah.
it goes back to that offensive line. Like, his offensive line is one of the top tiers in this league. He's not going to go to no team that does not have an offensive line because he knows one injury, this ship is
He's
going to
over.
sail.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
He's
done.
over. He's 44 years old.
Yeah.
That's like, even though I've had my indifferences with Tom Brady, liking him, hating him type of thing. He's very smart, and he knows exactly where he needs to go. Before he left the Patriots, he probably already did a full evaluation of each team, where to go, who got a good defense, who just missing a quarterback. Buccaneers, when you look at it, that was just the most likely team. They were 7-9 before we got there. Could have still had a winning record if Jameis Winston didn't throw 200 interceptions along with 200 touchdowns in the season.
You know what the crazy thing is about that Buccaneers team? Like,
What?
they were still a top scoring offense. Even
Yeah.
with Jameis Winston throwing up all those interceptions,
They
it
were.
was just like,
I remember that. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just like, and then they added Tristan Wirfs just prior, in the offseason. They signed, Tom Brady. They got Tristan Wirfs, brought in Gronk, and it was just like everything just kind of connected, and they went on that incredible run.
Yeah, they actually did. And it all started right after the Bears beat them last year. Right after that, they just started putting it together. Tom Brady started getting a rhythm. Gronk was healthy, and they was able to put in work. Now, of course, the team still having the same success, even having more injuries than they had last year. So, man, it's gonna be fun to see how your team match up against the Buccaneers, or if they wind up having to play the Packers again. How well can they match up with them, and how healthy your team will be by that time period?
Yeah, and that's going to be the key, is how healthy are you going to be, come January, come February. You're like, the healthier teams are going to move on because obviously they got the, depth at that point, because you got your starters, then you got your backups. So it's like, if Kyler can play, DeAndre Hopkins can help open up the field. That offensive line can come back somewhat healthy. I mean, it could be a fun game. I don't think it's going to be, a blowout, because obviously you got to put respect on that Bears defense. You guys got a lot of players, going to be out, but then you got some incredible talent still there.
I don't know.
And the veterans are going to have to be vets. They're going to have to rally these younger guys and be like, hey, this is how you're going to make it in this league. You want to make a name for yourself. This is the time right here. Hey,
Absolutely.
we don't have these guys. We don't have a Khalil Mack. We don't have things like that. This is the time to make your name. It's just like the Arizona on the flip side. No J.J. Watt. He's out for the year. Flip side, that defensive line got to go up to their edge rushers and be like, hey, you guys want to make it in this league? This is the time. This is the time to make a name for yourself. And that's where, your veterans are going to have to step up, and it's going to be a battle of whose veterans are more hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more hungry at that time, and which young player will make sure to perform at his best and not stick his foot in his mouth and don't have his head up as So just make sure that they make the appropriate plays.
Yeah.
With Khalil Mack being gone, of course, our young player is Travis Gibson, number 99. The first week that he was gone, he looked completely lost out there. He couldn't set the edge properly. He was getting pushed out of the way. And San Francisco was able to just keep running the same toss play left and right, and constantly able to get yards going up the field. Now he's setting the edge a lot more appropriately. He the reason why the Bears got the ball back when Robert Quinn got the sack. He stripped the ball out of Jared Goff's hands. So he is starting to make the necessary plays to do it. Of course, we did see a little bit of Khalil Mack's little brother out there a couple of weeks ago and this week. So, yeah, we do got a lot of young players that need to step up, because if not, man, like you said, 60% Kyler Murray is still better than a lot of the league. And even if he can't throw properly, he can still outrun everybody on that goddamn field at any given time.
Hey.
So They're
As
gonna
a
have to
Lion,
keep their eyes open.
hey, as a Lions fan, I'll take a 60% Kyle Murray over 100% Jared Goff.
Oh wow, really?
Oh,
Well,
facts.
he did have his highest passer rating last week,
I
22 or
mean,
25.
but how many yards did he put up with it? Like, it was all dink and dunks. It's like,
Yes, dink and dunk.
sometimes you gotta go and take that risk down the field. You know, if you dink and dunk, even Tom Brady at 44 years old, he still will throw at least one or two deep balls. You know, he'll dink and dunk you, but he will still throw at least one or two deep balls. You know,
Especially Brian Brady in
Jared
07.
Goff
Oh,
will
Lord.
never do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did once. Once it led to a touchdown on Artie Burns. But yeah, I do get exactly what you mean. Unless the player is completely wide open, he's
Yeah.
not taking that shot. He's
Right.
definitely not taking that shot down the field.
You know, and
But
in the NFL, you got to have that swag. You know, and that's where, you know, Kyler Murray comes in. That's what a Justin Fields is about to bring in to the Bears. Like, they got that swag. Like, I came from a winning program, and I'm here in the NFL. Like, you want some? Come get some, because we got some. You
And
know,
you saw that Pittsburgh game. You saw what happened, toward the end of the game. That one of the last drives toward the end of the game, with Justin Fields, when he had I think was it a 6-play or 5-play touchdown that led to 26-27.
yeah, yep.
And
yeah,
Pittsburgh, they had one of the top defenses.
He did show a lot of promise.
Mhm.
It's just that yet again, I don't know what the hell would be going on with the Bears organization with Sean deciding the guys that make the calls to have the players in there. Kendall Vildor should have been gone after week 3. After the Browns, matter of fact, he should have been gone after the Browns game.
Yeah,
He got exposed against the Browns. Right, they have Artie Burns in there, so it's like, I don't know. Those type of decisions is the reason why a team, instead of being 7-4, being able to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, beat the Baltimore Ravens, even beat the Cleveland Browns, because they had the chance to win all of those games at one point. In San Francisco, it was like those type of decisions affected.
Yeah, because at that time, San Francisco wasn't playing San Francisco ball like they are right now. Like, they were low, and it was a very winnable game. That's why it's like, and that's where, my frustrations with your guys' Bears, as a Lions fan, it's like, I don't wish the Boston Turds on nobody. And I feel like Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy is the Boston Turds. The Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, they think that they're so smart and there's some rocket scientists, but this is the game of football. It's not rocket science. You got to run that football. You got to stop that run. You got to play sound defense. You got to play disciplined football. Yeah. And you got to have that will to win. And for the love of God, please, when you are an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, when you are going in for your block, hands to the inside pad, drop your butt, move your feet. Anytime you grab that shoulder, it is an automatic penalty.
Yes, and also, most importantly, keep your damn head up. Why is so many offensive linemen driving in?
Where your body,
they got their head down. They got their head down on pass protection. I'm like, what are you doing? You're supposed to have your hands up, shoot straight out. The first get the first initial blow, and then you grab the inside of the jersey.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's like they're losing technique or whatever. This, I don't know what it is.
Can I just say something real quick? I'm not too sure if you know this, but there's this guy called Draft Dr. Phil, and he does like a whole breakdown of like Bears games, and he was even talking about like our center, Sam Mustipher, and the fact like that. One of his problems is that he doesn't square his body.
Yes.
And it was just like what you said, you need to square your body, and you got to keep your body up straight so you can move the alignment. If you don't keep your body up straight and square your body to move that alignment, you're gonna get freaking mauled. You're gonna get moved around, and that's gonna allow your running backs and your offensive players to get to get tackled so easily. And with David Montgomery, he's been saying this. He's one of our best offensive players on the field. And the fact that, if you're not squaring your body or you're not getting your body set in position to block, I mean, you're gonna have a long day.
Yeah, because it's not going to open up holes for David Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like you were saying, you got to square up, and like you were saying as well, get that initial blow first, push him back. When he comes in, then you grab the inside pad, drop that butt because your lowered center of gravity, move your feet, and you got him dead in fried chicken.
Nowhere.
Exactly. I don't care if you're going up against Aaron Donald. You will beat Aaron Donald if you have those type of techniques.
It's all about your
Absolutely.
techniques.
I'm about to say one of the players that used to do it properly before injuries just destroyed his career was Cal Long.
Yes.
You watch earlier.
Yes.
You watch him early in his career.
He used to pick up JJ Watt
against the Texans, and he used to destroy JJ Watt on the regular.
Yes.
The only player to actually do it on
That's
a consistent basis.
That was one guy I used to hate going up against y'all with the Lions. It was just like, oh man, we got to go up against Kyle Long. Like this is gonna be a long day.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. His fundamentals is I've never seen somebody that well on his fundamentals. But then, like you said, injuries kind of took place, and man, that was a massive blow.
Yeah, and of course he retired because he didn't want to play for Matt Nagy. I don't know if you didn't know that or not. That's why he did retire.
Yep.
I believe he back now and he played for the Chiefs.
Yes.
I don't know how well he's doing with the Chiefs, but
I think he just came back from injury.
Yeah, he did. He just came back. Yeah.
Well, even if he did come back from injury, the Bears needs him more than ever.
Hey, bring him in as offensive line coach because that's actually what he needs to do is like life after football, be a offensive line coach. And I think if he goes back to the Bears as an offensive line coach, I think you guys have one heck of an offensive line because he's going to make sure. Yeah, because when he gets a hold of those offensive linemen, like you guys should be able to, teach those fundamentals. And obviously, Kyle Long, he don't take no crap from nobody.
Well, no,
he will get in your rear end quick, fast, and in a hurry and put his size, whatever size foot he has, sideways. And because that's just the way he does things. Like he's a no nonsense, but he likes to have his fun. But you have to make sure that you're doing your work as well. And you have to be fundamentally sound. Like this is the National Football League. These are the best of the best athletes. Like you have to be fundamentally sound in order to win in this league. That's why I say you got to play disciplined football. That is disciplined football, not shooting yourself in the foot because you're grabbing the outside jersey or the outside pad and costing your team, 10 yards when you're right there on the 5-yard line. With 5 yards to go for a touchdown, you pick up a holding call because you think that you're too cute or something like that and grabbing the outside pad. And now you're at the 15-yard line. The momentum shifts at that point due to the penalty and you got to settle for a field goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm about to say, because that happened a lot last week going against your Detroit Lions. JP Holtz, he get a good stop. And if he just would have kept his hands on the inside and pushed through like he did initially, it wouldn't have been a 10-yard penalty. But instead, he gives the man a hug. Yeah, he did correctly by driving him back, but because he want to hug the man, like that's his wife that he ain't seen in 5 years, 10-yard penalty. And I'm like, oh wow. Even Cody Whitehair.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton is out in the open field. He could have just let the man go. He was not gonna catch Andy Dalton. Instead, he holds the man right in front of the ref. Ref like, oh yeah, that's the easiest flag I threw all year.
Flick of the wrist.
So I'm like, yeah, basically. So it's like, I don't know, man. This offensive line is probably this offensive line is not as bad as 2010 offensive line. They gave up 56 sacks that year.
Yeah,
but it's pretty damn bad. Like I just got Madden 22. I know we off subject, but still on subject. When the hell I ain't never seen a starting center be rated 65 and be starting in the game.
Oh God,
65.
That sounds like some
That's
Lion players.
That's like starting my player or something.
No, that's like the Detroit Lions players. Because we don't get no good ratings.
No,
That's
they
like
don't. But I'm just
running
saying,
as
like,
my player.
remember back in the old Madden games, if your player wasn't at least 85, they wasn't starting on that game.
Yeah.
I'm like, how bad is the rest of the players that the starting center that is rated 65 is still out there? He continuously get beat.
Yeah.
Every play. I'm like, God damn, things got to change. So I'll probably will prefer him to be at guard, either at guard or take him out on the field.
And you know something? I know this is way off subject than the Cardinals, but even with the Lions, like we had Hal Vaitai, who should have never got that contract as a right tackle. This year we moved him to the I think it's a right guard, and he's been playing much better. I mean, still not worth that contract, but he's still playing a lot better than what he did. So maybe with a Mustafar or a Whitehair, things like that, like maybe they just need to get in a different position, and maybe a little easier position and get those better reps to where maybe they can boost up their stat a little bit.
Yeah, that's a strong chance because Cody Whitehair, I believe, went to the Pro Bowl before as playing the center.
Yeah,
and at one point he was known to be maybe top 15 center in the league, somewhere around before 2019 and 2020 when he fell off, and then they just said, you know what, we're gonna keep you at guard.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It's even reached a point where you can keep the two guards. Larry Borum looks promising. He just have to make sure that he remembers the goddamn schemes more properly, so he don't miss assignments, because it's just way too many assignments missed. He's pretty damn strong. He just missing assignments. Of course, Jason Peters not going to be here. He's going to be fishing again next year. So it is what it is.
Can I ask, why did you guys sign him? Like, I know you guys need offensive line help.
Jenkins got hurt. He was hurt.
So that's okay. So that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, he's like he's about to be out the league like quick, fast, and in a hurry the way he's playing.
Yeah. Well, I will say this: if he get his hands on you,
you did his fried chicken if he gets his hands on you. But that's the problem. Like, he hasn't been able to get his hands on people.
He's gonna turn you into an IHOP.
All they trying to do is just outrun the hell out of him. But if anybody's stupid enough to try to power rush Jason Peters, good luck with that.
Good luck.
He still is like 6'7".
Yeah,
right. He's gonna flatten you. But it was either sign Jason Peters or sign me, and I'm 150 pounds now, so yeah, I think I would have got killed after that. Yeah, but now we on to the score predictions for the teams. Kofi, what is your score prediction for this team, for this game in particular?
I'll say this: if Kyler Murray does play, and he plays up to expectation, like he's been playing all season long, like the MVP Kyler Murray, I see this being a blowout because we got so many injuries on our team. And of course, like, our offense has been bottom of the league. Like, our passing offense has just been bottom, like 30. I think we're 30th in the league. Dead last in points per game. We're dead last in passing. I mean, we're pretty good with rushing, but other than that, our offense is just trash. I don't trust Matt Nagy. I don't trust this coaching staff exactly, because our coaching staff, the fact that we're able to muster up 16 points against the Lions of all teams, just shows you where we're at as a team. Like what Nagy says, we like to figure out where we're at. I'll tell you where we're at.
I'm sorry. I had to cut. Like, I was watching that video earlier, and he said where we at so many damn times, to a point that I had to cut the video short and missed out on important news. I had to get myself back together to rewatch the damn thing. I was like,
That
Why
was
you
like from
keep
this
saying
standpoint.
that?
Yeah, that was like Matt Patricia when he kept saying from this standpoint. It's like, hold on, time out. It's taking you. This is what week 13. You got to see where y'all at. Like that should have been in August. That should have been in July. That should have been in June, May, April. Like, what are you doing now in week 13? Trying to figure it out.
The whys, trying to
They're
figure out the,
trying to,
and
they're
that's
trying
why
to
I said this
trying to
guy's
figure
a
out the
shoe
why.
salesman,
Where we're at.
a freaking shoe salesman. Like he knows how to try to, he knows what to do to
Yeah.
convince you to think that oh,
I'm the
you know
guy.
where we're at.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out where we're at. But like I said, if this offense is still the same, I got the Cards blowing us out by at least 15 to 20 points. But if Kyler Murray doesn't, play well up to expectation, I have it being close, but I still have the Cards winning because I have no faith in this Bears team.
What is the official score prediction if you got them winning by 15-20?
Okay, so I would say the Cards win 35-14 if Kyler Murray doesn't live up to expectation, and if Kyler Murray is not playing too well, I have the team winning 20-17 Cardinals.
Okay.
I either have the Cardinals winning either way.
Okay.
Okay, Troxel, what is your score prediction for the game?
My score prediction for the game, I think it's going to be a 14-point game. And I think it's going to be close for 3 quarters. And then that fourth quarter, they're going to be like, okay, you know what? Let's stop playing. But it's going to come down to, like I said, who's going to run that football. And you guys were hitting on it a lot in this show. Wearing that defense down. Who's going to wear that defense down? If Kyler Murray comes out and balls out, absolutely. I mean, hey, they can even win by 30. You don't know. I mean, it's any given Sunday.
Exactly.
And on the flip side, hey, even a healthy Kyler Murray, the Bears can win by 30. I mean, it's just any given Sunday. Like I said, you got to put respect on these professionals. They're there when we're here for a reason. So it's like, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like just being able to run that football and stopping that run, because I mean, you got Zaven Collins out there, probably I call him the Swiss knife, because yeah, everybody knows him for that coverage skills, but that boy can get after that quarterback, and he's quick. He's one of those quick, I'm there, and it's just like, where the heck did you come from? I had you back there. So it's like, if everything goes according to plan, like I feel like it could be, 28-14. And I think that's what the score will probably be. Hopefully it's Matt Nagy's last game, because as hope for you guys, I hope you guys can, finally get back into, winning football, because, as a Lions fan, I don't want to beat the Bears if they're, not performing at their highest level or their potential. Why do you say that? Why wouldn't you want to pick up that win or whatever? Well, because I want to beat like an Aaron Rodgers. I want to beat a Justin Fields in his prime. I want to beat, the best of the best, because we are the Lions, or we are the Cardinals. Why? We don't get that type of respect like, say, the Los Angeles Rams or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Dallas Cowboys or the Green Bay Packers. They got the golden boy, Aaron Rodgers. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, you should have been suspended.
Saying, oh, he's a bad man. Oh, my gosh.
And just like, that suspension with Antonio Brown and the corner. I think he's either a corner or safety. Edwards, his teammate. They got suspended for basically the same thing of Aaron Rodgers. But you think the NFL is going to suspend Aaron Rodgers? That's a lot of millions of dollars. That's a lot of money.
Too much money.
Exactly. You suspend him for 3 games. The NFL, hey, you better pay somebody else some money. Hey, you better win this game, and you better show why he could get suspended and you taking that spot. Because now we're coming into that flex schedule where they can flex a game here and a game there and things like that. So but you can't suspend an Aaron Rodgers because of that. Like he's one of the faces of the league, and it's just like I want to beat that. It's just like this year with Michigan versus Ohio State. Like we finally beat them.
You don't beat my Ohio State. That's my team.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good. I actually predicted Michigan to beat Ohio State because this is the year that all the teams that usually been getting whooped on, they all been coming back and they've been whooping on their teams, or it's either been close games and those teams come out with the victory. So it's like,
yeah, like who would have thought Alabama?
Yeah,
like who would have thought Alabama was barely in the championship game for the conference championship.
Barely.
They're not even the favorites against Georgia, and it's just like, when did this happen? Like this is Alabama, like But like you're saying, it's like all these other teams that usually get whooped on is finally starting to get their revenge, and it's making for some good football. I ain't gonna lie. That's why I hope that this is a closer game because you think about the classic Bears. What is the thing? Something midway. Yeah.
Shuffle.
Yeah, so it's like you got that, and then you got the Cardinals, so it's like those are two good teams. Like, both teams have been to the Super Bowl. The Bears have won a Super Bowl, and to see, the Bears struggling, I mean, it kind of breaks my heart because it's just like, man, if we beat them, it's just like, they're struggling. There's an excuse right there. But if the Bears are on their game and, we beat them, well, you got to kind of put some respect on that now.
Right.
There's no excuses.
Franchise, man, the charter franchise of the NFL.
Right, I'm about to say, ain't nobody just turn around and be like, oh, it's the Bears. It ain't nobody. This the Bears. That's why you won.
No.
Yeah. And just to capitalize what you said earlier about Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, of course, I'm going to be happy, but at the same time, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it took all the way until Aaron Rodgers was to leave before the Bears started doing good. At least I got the chance to witness the Bears start doing good when Brett Favre was still with the Packers.
Yeah.
The 2001 Bears, 2005, 2006 Bears, when he was still there, and they just started taking them apart. They started beating the hell out of them, and I was enjoying every moment.
Y'all had some great matchups. I am not gonna lie, like you guys were in like some slugfest, especially guys with like Brian Urlacher and Matt Forte and the Black Unicorn and Martellus Bennett. Man,
Devin Hester.
Devin Hester. Hey, I still don't understand the concept of kicking the ball to Devin Hester in that Super Bowl. Like you knew that was 6 points.
I'm actually talking to one of my PRs or one of the guys who I'm working with, and he says he knows Devin Hester. So I was really trying to talk to him to see if I can get Devin Hester on this show. So prayerfully,
Hey.
I hope I get Devin Hester.
Oh man, that's
one
gonna
of my
be
bigger players.
You got me doing this already with him.
Oh, like Birdman. Oh yeah. Yep.
That was like when I had Benny Blaze on my channel. When I first heard, I was just like, wait, Benny Blaze from the U, and I was like, okay. Man, that was a good conversation though, because he was like, man, that's talking about like, when you got great goats like that, they know what you're about within the first 5 seconds. Like first few things out your mouth, they kind of like, okay, he's about that money, or he's about, just coming in here, just putting in a couple reps in and think that he made it, But when you see a dog and a goat, they've already been there, before you even got there. They stay after you leave. They're still putting in that work. They probably the ones that are the quiet ones still putting in that work, gritting and grinding.
Oh, yeah, they definitely got to do it.
So it's just like, and man, that was a good conversation. So if y'all could get Devin Hester, man, Hey, just say, hey, please tell him that a Lions fan said you was a bad man.
I'll
Because that
definitely tell
man
him.
was a bad man.
He changed the game, man. He changed the game a lot. And I still remember that Super Bowl. My God, when he returned for a 99-yarder, I was like, oh, I thought we were gonna win that game. I'm like, yeah, damn it. Like, yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, bro, he already scored a touchdown. I was like, this might be a long game for the Colts.
I know.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd kick it to him again. I was like, kick it again. Kick it again like a goofy. Kick it to him again.
Hey, why was it? I even said that. I was like, man, come on, you know not to kick it to him. All these scout reports,
especially that year,
right? Because he already had, what was that, like 4 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns?
6 return for touchdowns. Yeah.
You know, he already had. He had probably most, and a lot of running backs had touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know,
receivers.
Yeah, even some receivers. So it's like, you knew not to kick it to him. So I was like, I even said the same thing. I was like, go ahead, kick it to him again. Watch how stupid you look and you lose in the Super Bowl. Like, come on.
Man, they was kicking that ball short and out of bounds, even on kickoff. For the rest of the game, they was like, listen, if we don't kick the ball to him at all, we got a shot. But if we punt the ball to him by mistake or kick the ball off again, and it's not at the 30-yard line starting it off, we lost. And they got it together real quick. They made sure not to lose that game. Sadly, of course, the Bears didn't win that Super Bowl. It didn't get back to it. You know, it was still heartbreaking to see Thomas Jones, Cedric Benson, all those guys. Cedric Benson, God rest his soul, go out without a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah,
but
that's one of our lowest moments, man. With all the 4th and 8s, with all Aaron Rodgers being us, that was our lowest point. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was. That on top of the 4th and 8, the 4th and 8 still, I still can't watch that highlight without wanting to twist my phone around and break it up.
Oh, God,
that's almost like that's like that. What do you call it? The Lions versus Cowboys in the wild card where they picked up the flag in Dallas. And I'm like, come on, like you was all over him. You know, and then the Arizona Cardinals, I still can't really watch that against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know,
I was so mad. I was so mad about that. I wanted y'all to win.
Bro, I wanted Larry Fitzgerald to get that ring. Like, dude is a class act on and off that field. You know, and that's another guy. Like, if he could ever come back and be a wide receiver coach or some sort of coach, like I think that whoever can hire him, you know, is definitely going to get a professional coach.
Oh, absolutely. I'm about to say he's one of the best that ever do it.
Yeah,
and he did his whole career in a Cardinals uniform.
Yeah,
with countless quarterbacks and did not care. Anquan Bolden eventually left, said, man, I'm chasing rings. I'm trying to do it. He was like, no, I want to do it here.
Yep, and right here.
If it wasn't for the defense, sadly, that's what screwed him in the end.
Yeah.
I definitely would have had that ring. And also somehow Santonio Holmes coming down with that football.
But you know, the one thing about that game, and that's what really irks me, is it wasn't just that one play with Santonio Holmes. It was the entire game.
Yeah, also throwing the interception. Throwing the interception at the end of the half definitely did it.
Yep.
Don't forget about the James Harrison touchdown too.
Yeah, but hey, that was the one time I actually cheered during that game because I love when big men can score touchdowns. I don't care who you going up against, even if it's a Lions versus Bears. I will cheer for that Bear player if it's a defensive lineman or offensive lineman. I'm like, hey, that's what's up. Like, come on, let's go. I love when big men can get the ball and score touchdowns because, you know, they don't get that opportunity.
No, they don't. No, I'm about to say, so that means you must have loved it when Keith Traylor back in the day, early in 2001, picked up that football and ran 60 yards down the field.
Yep.
And did not want to get a football up for nothing because he was like, no, I'm trying to score.
Yep.
Rumbling and stumbling. You know,
Oh
matter of
yeah.
fact, the Patriots lineman that damn near scored a touchdown, trucking people and juking people somehow and running all the way down to the 5-yard line.
Hey Jonas, I know this might this might haunt you in your dreams, but remember that 2010 NFC Championship game when BJ Raji he got that interception.
Oh man.
From Caleb
Illuminati,
Haney.
Illuminati confirmed. Illuminati confirmed. I can't do it. I can't.
God, that was so bad. BJ
Yeah,
Raji.
I was,
And then he did his
yeah, I
little
was
dance.
like, how you not see him? He ain't big. Like, come on, Caleb Haney. That's why he not in the league no more. Because when you can't see people that damn big, you don't deserve to be in the league. I don't care that it was snowing. That man way too 330, 350, and you couldn't see him right there in the middle of the field, threw it right to him.
Right.
Man.
No, that 2010 NFC Championship was so painful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. And then
Rodgers was not even having a good game.
Tackle Urlacher and stop him from running the back. I was like, how the hell you let him tackle you?
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's another player that I wish would have got a ring was Brian Urlacher. Like that dude, man, you had a game plan against that man.
He was a game
because he was about to wreck anything you had against him. He was coming in for somebody's lunch money.
Yeah, he was 6'4", 260 and runs a 4.4 in his 40.
Yep.
Played safety in college and had like a 38-inch vertical on top of that. Yeah, that was amazing to watch him play. I was happy that I got the chance to watch him play his entire year. Yeah, he probably should have had a ring or two.
Yeah,
especially with the Bears offenses that they had during that time period. But it is what it is, man. You know, the Bears couldn't get it done. But I'm just gonna do my final score prediction, and if we want to keep it going, we can keep it going, or we can end it right there. But I got the Bears actually still in this game. The reason why is because Andy Dalton got the offense moving a little bit better, and I do believe that hopefully he don't stink up the joint, but if he doesn't, he's going to be able to repeat maybe a 250-yard performance, escape the pocket a few times, extend drives, and on top of that, because Kyler Murray, like you said, is probably at 60%. I expect him not to have exactly what happened last year, but have like maybe a 2 or 3 game stretch in between the rest of the games where the media starts questioning your quarterback.
Yeah, right. Until he gets his legs back.
Right, and this is the best time for the Bears to take on the Cardinals. You know, if they took him on in week 7, I'd have been like, yeah, the Bears gonna get killed. Ain't no other way to put it. But
confirmed.
but because of the way everything has transpired, this is definitely the best time for the Bears to be playing them. And because of that, trying to force him back in there, he might pull a Jameer Nelson like he did with the Magic when he came back with his injury. Fuck the Magic all the way up, and they end up losing 4 games to 1. So it's like it could be just that type of thing, but of course, in this particular game. And that's what I do believe, that the Bears will win. And I believe it's probably going to be a decent scoring game, like 24 to 23 type of thing. Okay. It's going to be a high score or something like that, or 25-23. It's going to be a score you don't see too often.
Yeah.
With this.
Well, I will say this. If you guys can have 300 passing yards, I think it will play into your guys' favor. Because if you can have about 300 passing yards and about maybe $150 on the at least $150 to maybe 200 yards rushing, I think that type of balance with your guys' defense, I think you could pull it off.
Yeah, but you just gave us the holy grail with that 200 yards rushing and 300 yards passing.
You have
total offense.
You got receivers. You got able to do like an end around that counts as rushing yards. Things like that. Like you can move different guys in different spots to where you can do some stuff. So it's like And then you got that two-headed monster in Khalil Herbert and in David Montgomery. All the offensive line got to do is do their job, block somebody, and stop picking up stupid penalties. If y'all can do that, it's going to play into your guys' favor.
Yeah, but on top of that, you got to remember too, it's still Matt Nagy calling the plays.
Yeah, that's another thing though. Like that's why I want y'all to kind of lose, is because the more you guys lose, the more this owner can see, hey, look, there's an issue here. Because you guys might be losing an Allen Robinson. You guys might be losing some key players. And why are you losing some phenomenal talent in Allen Robinson? You guys should not be losing a guy like that, because that should be a guy that you're building, this team with an Justin Fields with. That should be his Kelvin Johnson, with a Cole Kmet and a Jesse James kind of helping out. Because the quarterback's best friend is a tight end.
It's on Ryan Pace. He screwed up, man. Ryan Pace royally screwed up.
Where he messed up at
Trubisky and drafted Fields.
Yeah, and that's where he messed up at. I've always been, and this is the way I even want the Lions to do, is build your team, then draft your quarterback, then go out there and win, because your quarterback's going to take up a lot of your salary cap. They're going to eat up, 20, 30, 40, $50 million. Patrick Mahomes is going to eat up a lot of that Chiefs contracts.
Yeah, I think his contract like $250 or something like that. Something crazy amount like that.
Yeah, it's $500,000 or $500 million. It's $500 million
for 10 years.
For 10 years. So he's going to be eating up a lot of that cap. Yep. So they got to build that team. Then they draft their quarterback. And, that's the one thing about a John Dorsey. He did it with the Packers. He did it with the Browns. He did it with the Chiefs. He built that team, and then he drafted the Patrick Mahomes. He built the Cleveland Browns, then he drafted the Baker Mayfield. He built the team. Obviously there was a little rift between, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, but he's the one who drafted Aaron Rodgers. He got Aaron Rodgers to Green Bay.
That's what I was saying. We should have drafted Aaron Rodgers instead of Cedric Benson.
but who expected that though? Cedric Benson was like, especially in college, he was just like a change of culture type of running back in college. And too bad it didn't work out for us.
He was a cheat code in college. You see him on the field, it was game over.
Right, I'm about to say he made Texas like 100% legitimate. Like, Vince Young wasn't even that damn good yet, but they had Cedric Benson. He was. I didn't even listen. My brother kept picking Texas because he found out Cedric Benson was on the team. I didn't even want to pick I didn't want to buy the next college football game that had him in there. I was like, I'm not doing it. You a cheater. So I'm like, he was that OP. Like, in the NFL, he wasn't as fast as he was considered to be in college. But, once he left the Bears and he went to Cincinnati, he still had like 3, 4, 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, he kind of resurrected that career a little bit in Cincy and things like that.
And he trashed our Bears when we played him.
Oh yeah,
I was about to say that. Ran for 140 yards against us each time he played us.
200. I think it was 280 yards when he ran against us. It was a lot. It was way more than that.
It was that bad. It was that bad.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was that bad.
I probably blocked it out. I probably blocked it out. It was like, that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Hey, that sounds like my Lions. I kind of blocked them out a little bit. Like, I'll cover them, but I try to block it out because the pain is so real. How do you go 0-10-1?
But at least you got 2 of them.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you go 0-10-1 after going 0-16 in 2008?
I can't explain that. I was like, I picked the Lions to win a few times, and then the one time I picked them, we had both times I picked them. It was against AFC North teams, the Ravens which Justin Tucker kicked that 66-yarder and he made it. I was like, oh man, I was doing that, and I'm not even a Lions fan. I said, oh, I was like, damn. And then against the Steelers, they tied. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, what's his name? Cedric Benson rushed for 189 yards. I'm sorry, just to clarify, 189 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's why I blocked that memory out. That's why I blocked it out. Shit, that's all bad, man. That's all bad. But man, Troxel, man, we appreciate the simple fact that once again that you was able to make it to our podcast. We would love to have you back on, even in the off season, and we can still just have like a NFC North type of roundtable type of discussion. You know, we'll try to bring in some Packers fans, some Vikings fans, and then we all just have a roundtable discussion and just continue to talk about our teams. Of course, you know, I'm gonna warn you ahead of time. It does get heated, and sometimes curse words do come flying in those roundtables, especially when all of us gang up on the Packers fans. So, yeah, we all gonna gang up on the Packers fan. Like, oh, you know what? We might not like each other, but we all hate you.
We all hate you, right?
Right. So it might turn into that type of thing. But yeah, man, once again, man, we would love to have you back on at any given time. And we appreciate your time, man. We was happy that you was able to spend an hour and 25 minutes with us and counting. You know, I know you're a busy man, and you be moving around a lot. You be having a lot of stuff to do, and you still was able to fit us in, man. We deeply appreciate it.
Hey, anytime, brother, man. Hey, as soon as Kofi said, hey, you know, can you come on? I said, hey, man, absolutely, man. And then, you know, and then found out you were boxing. I'm like, okay. Because I got some fans of you know, boxing and UFC and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, we might have to you know, get in contact and do something with some boxing and some UFC and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I'm about to say, I just have to get myself together so then I can be able to watch it instead of be like, okay, what's going on? You know, but yeah, we can definitely do that, man. I wouldn't mind even tuning in to your stream as a special guest, and you know, and going over certain things with you in terms of boxing, or even just talking about the sweet science of boxing and UFC and how they match and how they go.
Like class boxers too. Have you all heard of Adrian Granados?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I have him on speed dial. I actually trained with him. So he fought Adrian Broner, I think.
Oh yeah,
Adrian Broner, and he fought Garcia.
Yo, okay. I remember that now.
He just recently fought Conor Ben too for the welterweight championship. So I got him on speed dial. Anytime, man, I could get him on as well.
Oh man,
okay, cool. I'm about to say that'd be good. We can have the main event podcast. Have a boxing special with just him on there and talk nothing but boxing. And if you want to talk other sports, we can do that as well. You know.
Yeah, I can get him on anytime. You know.
Right, so we is real versed in all sports. We do cover all of it. You know, we just don't like talking about the Cubs and the Sox too much, especially the Sox.
Hey, at least y'all won a World Series though.
Oh, I'm absolutely happy about that. I still bought that.
Yeah, what's his name? Javier Baez signed with the Detroit Tigers.
Man, hey. I was shocked. I was shocked on a few of these moves that we made this offseason. I was like, whoa, wait, what? You got some gold glovers? Like, what? What time is it? Are we back in like 2010, 2011?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just like, but hey, at least y'all got a World Series instead of, you know, these guys right here. Hey, just one before I die. Just one before I die.
It can happen, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to see. I got a chance to see the Cubs World Series. Now I got to see the Bears win a Super Bowl. I ain't seen the Bulls. I ain't seen the Bulls win all their championships. I witnessed that. Now I just got to see the Bears win a Super Bowl. Yeah, I could die right then and there, and I'll be fine. I'll be like, okay, I'm good.
That's another team though that's scaring me. The Chicago Bulls, when they made all those moves this offseason, I said, Mayday, y'all better call somebody because hey, they back. The Bulls are back.
Yeah, I'm about to say all they need now is just one additional piece, and that is a very good backup center
Yeah.
that can be able to be a defensive anchor for the team. So then the smaller guys can play their proper positions.
Yep.
Because that depth is going to be very important during the playoffs. You
Yep.
know, I was like, God damn, I wish the Bulls did have like
Especially facing Milwaukee.
Omira
Yeah.
Cheek type player
Yeah.
or a Joakim Noah type player. I was like, that would be perfect at this time. But hopefully they do try to do some type of free agent sign or some type of trade
Yeah.
before the trade deadline and bring in that additional piece, because that's what's going to really propel them to even at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals at least at the most.
Real talk. I want my Suns to go up against y'all Bulls in the finals. I think that would be an electric. I think that would be an electric finals. You got Devin Booker, Chris Paul going up against that entire. You got Levine and DeMar DeRozan. Like, how are you going to do that? And then you put Lonzo Ball with that. It's like, come on, like that's overkill.
Yeah, and then you got Vucevic.
Vucevic. I mean, how you guys gonna do that to us?
Bucci, man. We call him Bucci, man.
Hey, as a Pistons fan, how you guys gonna do that to me, man? Come on now.
Yeah,
the Bulls are back.
Too. Derrick Rose hurried up and got up out of the before shit hit the fan in Detroit. I was like,
yeah. Well, it was time though. Like it was time to let these younger kids play and build kind of something like y'all are doing over there in Chicago. You know, y'all were, you know, life after Derrick Rose wasn't the most rosiest. You know, it was tough sledding. Tough. You know, but you guys stayed with it. You guys drafted the right way. You guys, you know, put together pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got, you know, Kobe White coming off the bench now. You got, you know, and that's a dog right there. You know, you got Patrick. Is he starting or is he off the bench now?
He's hurt. Patrick Williams, you mean?
Yeah.
He's hurt. Yeah, he's hurt. He's out for the season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, he was a dog. So
yeah,
I mean, like y'all got so much depth and so much talent, but you guys, you didn't waver. You didn't, you know, you didn't do none of that. You guys just fell with the draft, drafted the right way. You said, hey, yeah, we'll buy these free agents. You know, they're going to teach these young kids, yada, yada, yada. But we're going to make sure that we build this team via the draft. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's where, you know, that's where I want my Pistons to be at is, you know, go ahead, get these draft picks.
Y'all got Cade Cunningham.
Hey, I was so happy about that.
Cade Cunningham's great. He's really good.
Yeah, I was shocked about that. I was like, man, I hope they don't try to mess up and try to get too cute, because Cade was the guy. Like, you knew that was the consensus number one guy.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't expect DeMar DeRozan to be this. I mean, I knew he's going to be good, but not like this type of good.
Yeah.
And Caruso.
Man, how did you guys get Caruso too? Like,
I don't know.
I'm still sitting here like, come on, man. Y'all got me.
Caruso's earning every penny of that contract. He's earning every penny.
Absolutely.
Some people believe that he's the MVP of how well he's been playing.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he has the highest plus-minus rating in the NBA. One of the highest.
He should. I'm about to say he really have not made too many mistakes whatsoever. At most, he might turn the ball over once.
Yeah.
If he's off, if he's tired, he might turn it over twice. But other than that, he make all the right plays, all the right passes. Very efficient at the mid-range game. He knows when to knock down the three. He knows when to give the ball to the open man. And he knows when to drive and, of course, make that occasional slam dunk on somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe he's top 5 in the league.
Yes, in Miami. I remember that game.
So it's like, that's just a steal. I couldn't believe that the Lakers let him walk.
I couldn't either. I was like, that if it was anybody, like, I would have let other people go, but not, you know, play off Caruso pretty much. You know, but I know, you know, you left in the first round last year due to the Suns. Shout out to my Suns. You know, but, you know, it was just like, he was a key piece in that first in that championship.
He was.
And then obviously you had two of your top tier stars in LeBron and AD out. So obviously he's going to struggle a little bit. But you let him go, and then he went to a perfect situation. He doesn't have to be the guy, but he doesn't have to be a bum either. Like, he could just play his game. He's playing now carefree.
Exactly.
And when you're able to play carefree, you're going to be a dangerous man.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
Hey, absolutely. Caruso's a bad man.
Yeah, did you see what's his name? Face Stephen A. Smith during that Knicks game when we're up.
That was a whole nother meme right there.
Because he was talking so much crap to the Bulls. Oh, they're not that good. My Knicks are good, but guess what? We beat your Knicks.
Oh man. Hey,
I was too happy about that.
Hey, anytime you can make Stephen A look like Boo Boo the Fool, hey, it's always a good day.
There's always going to be a good day with that. I don't know what happened to him over here. He turned more and more into a TV personality than an actual analyst. But
yeah,
it keeps him paid. So good luck with that. I guess the real analysts now in transition to YouTube, because it's only how you're going to find real analyzation of each team
on YouTube.
Down, with real passion, not getting paid millions of dollars to go up there and call somebody a scrub. But when they making way more money than you and they did something that you couldn't do, make it to a professional sport. So it's like,
all facts.
I don't know, man. But it is what it is. Though when it come down to people like him, they don't last too much longer when they start becoming clowns. That's why Skip Bayless moved over to Fox, because he knew his town was going to be up. People was getting sick of him with his deranged talk, so they matched him up with Shannon, and ever since then it's been gold because Shannon corrected real quick.
Oh yeah,
Skip.
Oh yeah,
Come on, Skip.
And then what do you call it? Another one is Colin Cowherd that just needs to go. Like, he be talking like so outlandish. It's just like, how you still got a job, dog?
Because his hot takes is what keep him in business.
Yeah.
Even though 80% of the time he be wrong, that 20% of the time that he right is what keeps him in business. And the simple fact that he don't know what he's talking about, and it gets everybody mad and continuously watching his show, looking for something stupid for him to say so they can curse him out about it. That's definitely keeping him in business. So it's like, being a clown now is getting you paid. Yeah. So that's how they do it.
Let's not forget about Mike Valeni too. Oh Lord, Mike Valeni.
Hey, but you know what? He, as much as I hate that man here in Detroit, like, he be telling you the truth though. Like, we're just not that good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, even though
I can handle the truth. I just can't handle someone that'll say half the truth, and then the rest of it is just a whole bunch of BS completely. So it's like, but it is what it is. Like I said, I keep saying it's because that's all I can say when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I feel that.
That's just the way it is. No, just like what Tupac said, that's just the way it is.
Hey, all facts.
Anyway, man, we appreciate you coming, bro, for real, man.
Hey, I appreciate y'all for having me, man. I've had so much fun tonight, man. Appreciate that.
Man, I'm happy that we was able to give you some fun, man, and not bore you to death and have you over here like, man, just looking around like, what is they talking about and why am I here? So I'm happy that we was able to entertain you, and also, man, just like I said before, we would love to have you back any given time. Like I said before, it could be in the off season. We don't mind hopping on your platform as well. We can network and we can make it happen.
Hey, we might have to do something for the draft. We might have to do something for the draft. Both drafts, the NBA and the NFL. So
I'm about to say, I'm gonna make sure I set up.
If you ever want to meet up too, if you guys ever want to meet up in person, we could just talk sports and everything.
Hey, that would be dope. Yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah, I'm about to say because me and Kofi actually met in person already, so me and him is actually quite familiar with each other. You know,
That's
we don't mind meeting you too or meeting any damn body in person. You know, as long as
yeah.
everybody's straight and ain't nobody on nothing weird, we go back with you.
Hey, that's all facts.
Absolutely. Plain and simple. I said we go deal with you, but we ain't gonna hold you up too much longer, man. Once again, man, just want to give a shout out to the Troxel Sports Streams. Once again, his link is down in the description down below. Also, to make sure to subscribe to KO Sports Talk. He is still on his way to reaching 100 subscribers. So make
Get me
sure
to 100
that he reaches
subscribers
100
by the end of
subscribers.
this year.
Yes, he
100
is currently at 87. Get him to 100 subscribers and just
Please.
keep building the content as well. Just continue to like and subscribe to this channel as well and make sure they hit that notification bell. And also comment down below. Continue the comments going. That builds the algorithm and helps just keep the channel going so then we can one day be up there with Troxel. So Troxel, and keep it going, man. So
Hey, come on up here, man. Hey, the view is awesome. Come on up here, you guys. Hey, bring that heat. I loved. Hey, I might hate the Chicago Bears, but hey, you guys are amazing people. So hey, you know we gonna get there. You know, and you know, hey, anyone that came over from my channel, if y'all ain't subscribed to Kofi and you ain't subscribed to
Jonah Pittman. Yes, yes, sir.
If you're not subscribed to these two fellas, man, hey, what are you doing with your life? Go and subscribe because they're gonna bring you that fire.
Thank you, man. But once again, man, this is Jonah Pittman along with KO Sports Talk and Troxel Sports Stream, bringing it back to you with the main event podcast. Once again, talking about the Chicago Bears taking on the Arizona Cardinals in this Week 13 matchup. All right, people. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. See y'all later.
Peace.
Slide, you know we gon' see tequila. That boy is for real. And when I come up out that cup.